And also it's like for Moors, if those who hold the authentic teaching do not explain it, it is difficult for the Dharma to be of any real benefit to beings. And once it's like you apply the education of Dharma, and then you listen to Dharma, afterwards you contemplate Dharma, and then it's meditate the Dharma. Through this, you have such experience of the realization of Dharma. And one day maybe it's like you become the teacher of the Dharma, then you cannot to rest, you cannot to be quietly, you should to give, express to the others here. Like some Dharma holders, authentic teachers, and they take very much low profile or the low position, say, I can't teach. They all the time make retreat. And sometimes we are complaining to the teachers, say, this is selfish. Do not stay in the hermitage place. Coming down, teach 2 hours Dharma. Say. Like this, maybe one day also your situations. And like this, and to study very well, seriously need to study. And particularly these days, many Tibetan Lamas put hope sometimes in European people. Why? Because it's like the Europeans, Westerns, you have basic educations, fantastic. And also when some teachers give explanations, you easily to understand. And also it's like your analysis and your research of these teachings and contemplate is quite very well because your basic education is fantastic. But we have one is problems, it's like kind of arrogant. Absolutely, we have very much arrogant because of the condition of our conditions. And like when you go in Japan, I'm all the time argue in the Japanese. And before they have such and like proud, they say it's the good country, good like Mahayana Buddhist, particularly Mahayana country, and technologies, everything's good. We are perfect. Difficult to go under, difficult to open, and they all the times close. And then it's slowly, and this kind of lot of problems occurring. And then it's now they want to open and like very much accept the foreigners. And then it's people more relaxed, more to have the educations, even make the joke, Japanese Buddhists, the Mahayanas. Now it's the original, studying of the Buddha Dharma or the monasteries. Normal persons more studying the Dharma. And like this, and sometimes we have this arrogant, before in Japan I'm saying it's like difficult to accept the others' traditions. And like this, also we have sometimes really, I'm seriously telling you, it doesn't matter. It is like we have such a proud, arrogant, why? And also sometimes says like, I don't believe any at all. Why I'm no problem. I'm like a healthy person, like worthy or like kind of the, it's like, I have money, I have condition, I have good job, I have basic educations, what I needed. And this kind of religious education I don't need. Maybe it is the truth, but it's when we slowly to look at the hours, like maybe someone is natural, they are great, compassionate, really is good, they are rich, they are intelligent, they are not really studying any like Dharma or the other, but they are generally fundamental good, and okay, they can take care of family, they can take care of society a little bit, but not very much benefit. And you can to look at some billionaires, how much is the benefit? I'm really not sure. And we can compare the first Patrul, okay? And first Patrul Rinpoche, he's not millionaires. He hasn't got any like a purple house, no money, no food, no shelter, almost homeless. But how much is the benefit? How much he helped to this? He has 1,000 and 1,000 students. Most his students appreciate very much, received a lot of compassion education, lot of like received the education of the wisdom. Most is like they become like same as him. And one is student like become same as him. And then also they have 1,000 students. One person to express how many, like he has 1,000, his 1,000 students to make the 1,000, a lot. Like this continuation of the PT instructions there. Then we can to look at in the Western. Of course, we have such a richness. It's like, say, it's like breakfast pancakes in London, and lunch for the nice, delicious hamburger in New York, and then as dinner is come back to the Paris. Per day they are going to. They don't need any normal aeroplanes. They need Concorde or maybe private, jets. And like this, where they can to spend money, where they can to go to the happy, where I want make the like a holidays. Okay, it's a good, this kind of, but benefit, I'm not sure. But maybe it's like you become the millionaire of the Dharma. And you have the millionaire of the realization of the compassion, wisdoms. And you teach to the others how you can to install to the one person's mind to dig out of this deep of the Buddha nature, peaceful of the Buddha nature, profound of the Buddha nature, the nectar of the Buddha natures. You give to the like one person's heart, this person's how much happy is it. For example, those broken Buddhist teacher, we can to say Patrul Rinpoche's lifestyle, he's completely broken. Nothing material things, but he gifted things. His students say, this my teachers give to me the things, how I can to repayment of the kindness. And like this gift is the enormous gift. And afterward, the students sometimes remembers naturally tear is coming. And they never forget it. They keep the picture to put there. For example, Patrul Rinpoche, himself, he's a teacher of the Jigme. And then, of course, afterwards, he not stay all the time, but he receive all the teachings. And afterwards, he don't need to really, it's like that, but he's appreciate it. He made one Jigme tonka, and in the morning, in the front there's his tonka, and he put in the forward. In the evening also before, he go to the sleep and he put there. He has this tonka, it's really, tonka is not, I saw, it's not big, but the front tonka is completely exhausted, because he put hundreds or millions times. And this is a kind of the kindness like this. And this maybe it's like if you're serious to practice Dharma, study the Dharma, if you something is become really compassionate, you really get rid of your arrogant, proud, and kind of the selfish, and you become the benefit for the sentient. How much is the benefit? At that moment, please do not silently in the forest. You should to taste it. This unexplained is the great, the Smritinjana of the India. Also, this kind of happened in Tibet. He came to Tibet because his mother had been reborn there in one of the ephemeral hells, the ephemeral hells. And ephemeral hell is a very strange hell. Like sometimes this kind of beings to be on the door. Sometimes it's like in the pillow. Sometimes a very strange way. And we can stop And like this, the ephemeral hell is like uncertainty when you're born. Like sometimes they search in the body, they can't find. They're holding the door. They think this is my body. And then open the, like very strong, clash the doors, and very bad. Therefore, some Dhamma practitioners, they slowly to open, slowly close the doors. Of course, there is no beings there. And the same as like this, some Buddhists, they say it's cannot cut, like some tree, these things you should take care of. Because sometimes plant has a life, because the ephemeral health, the beings, sometimes searching body, they couldn't find, and then they ask just to go to in the tree. Oh, this is my body. Then if you're cutting the tree, sometimes crying, blood is coming, like this kind of cutting. But anyway, ephemeral, the health beings is like this. His mother is become like this and reborn in Tibet, particularly in Assam. The interpreter died on the journey, and the Smritinjana, who was wandering around the province of the Kham, unable to speak a word of the language, his problem, because the translators died and he cannot communicate, became the shepherd and died there without having been of the very much benefit to anyone. And his stories, he was shepherd and 1 or 2 years, and then is finally this family, he said, now I'm going. Then family said, okay, now we want to pay for you. Said, then this Smritinjana, he says, no, I don't need to pay. Can I take this, in the stone of the, the stuff, like a fire maker, there's one stone, and I have this one. They say, of course we can to give, this is nothing, but we need to pay it. And then it's like he break this stone inside one insect. This is like the ephemeral health, the sentient beings like this. Sometimes it's like ephemeral, like in the beings, like a frog. Have you heard frog? Sometimes frog in the middle of the stone. And we call the eater of the stone. When you break the frog, inside the frog, the stone, and then frog, they just licking a little bit the stone. There is years, eons, sometimes they stay there. They cannot move because the inside the stone. And this we can easily to find, like this kind of, we call the ephemeral and the sentient beings. And then he broke this stone, and then his mother was there, and the insect, and then he helped to her. And then he said that when the Chobo Atisha later arrived in Tibet, of course Atisha has this like a Pantitas, and the translator really purposely came here. And then it's learned had happened. What happened? He cried out. And why? He says like he heard about the Smritinjana was in Tibet. How sad, he said, Tibetans, your merit is the weak. Nowhere in India, Eastern or the West there was the Pandita better than the Smritinjana. And the placing his hand together, he wept. He was very Atishana sad. Wow, he came to in Tibet. In India at that time, it's like the most Buddhist great master was Smritinjana. But he came to Tibet and he couldn't much benefit because of the language, something. He chose to become the shepherd, that's all. Like sometimes this kind of happened, and also it's what can we do? And like generally saying like this, of course Buddhas appear, not teaching, and even the teaching there disappeared. And then it's like which kind of benefit for us? And the Smritinjana is a great Pandita, great Buddhist master. He came to in Tibet, but nobody recognized. and also it's like nobles follow him, and he couldn't get the communicated to the Tibet people, and then he just to be shepherd, and he passed away. And this kind of the Buddha Shakyamuni has turned the wheel of the Dharma at the three levels, and like a three level of the individuals, the Vinayana and the Sutayana, Abhidharmayana cities, manifesting in the inconceivable number of the form according to the needed and capacities, and according to the needed these disciples' capacity of those to the helpers. Lead the disciple through the 9 vehicles of his teaching in the maturity and the liberation state. And of course, it is the like in the Buddha's teachings, there are the basic 3 times. We can to say even the 4 times he like the Dharma wheel, like he turned it, and also it's like at the moment we say it's like existence 84,000 teachings, 100 more than the like 8 volumes, and also it's like this is to resume. There is like a kind of like a 12. How do you call the? How to translate? 12 suttas, Denujuni. Or 12 basket, you can to say. 12 basket, okay, baskets. I mean, it's like, okay, you can, when you say it's in English, 12 baskets. If there's no explanations, what is the 12 basket? Where I need to put? Oh, you don't need. All of them are shopping bag, you know. you can use for. When you go to the Aldi, you need to take different. When you go to Lidl, different. Market and the Dallas and this, you need different. There's 12 basket for the shopping bag. I think it's like in Tibet we say de nut, means it's like nut, this basket, okay. But this means like contain. There is like the existence of all the teachings different, and therefore they call it like this. And then there are the 9 yanas, vehicles of the teachings. 9 yanas vehicle, and generally it's like there is the 3 yanas is the characteristic yanas. This is we call the Vinayana, Sutayana, Abhidhammayana. This is outer like kind of the teaching based. It's called the causal tent teachings. And then is that the tenter, outer tenter, inner tenter. Outer tenter is like Triya, Upper, Yoga. There are 3 like kind of outer tenter, and like a base of the tenter, and it's like just like kind of the beginners. And then inner direct 3 tenters is like kind of more profound, and this is the Maha tenter, Anatenta, Atu tenters. And then it's like this 9 vehicle is like this. The teaching in the like maturity and the liberations. Because it's like according these teachings, 84,000 teaching, or 12 basket teaching, or the 9 vehicle of the teaching, or the like okay. And also we call the 3 Tipitakas, and Vinayana, and how do you say, Sutayana, and the Abhidhammayana. And generally speaking, these three baskets, and this tree and the receptacle, or how do you say, tree like contain, and inside it consisted all the Buddha's teachings. And also, for example, we can to say that the Hinayana is the Hinayana's Sutta, Hinayana's the Vinayana, okay, Hinayana's Vinayana, Hinayana's Suttayana, Hinayana's the Abhidhammayana. And also in the Mahayanas Vinayana, Mahayanas Suttayana, Mahayanas Abhidhammayana. And also in the Tantric teachings, also it's like the Tantric of the Vinayana, Tantric of the Suttayana, Tantric of the Abhidhammayana. And therefore, it's generally, it's globally, you can to say it's like this three basket or the three Tripitakas are the teaching of the entire of the Buddha's teachings. And like this, through these teachings, the disciples to making the maturation, the mind, and liberate the mind, nothing else. They never make liberation of the pancake. They never make liberation of the cappuccino. They made liberation of our mind. That is the most important. And then even during the Kaaba, in which a Buddha has appeared and given teachings, once the time for those teachings to include the Inju has come to an end, and the authentic Dharma that has taught disappear. It is exactly the same as in dark Kaabas. And it's like even the Buddha came to in this world, and also like he taught like this 84,000 teachings, but this duration, the life of the Dharma, it disappeared. Then it's also for ourselves, it's like really it's a dark Karma. There's not different like a bride has the bright Karma or the dark Karma. For our perspective, it's like a blank or the not very good eons or the durations. The periods of the between the disappearance of the Buddha's teaching and the next Buddha's teachings being given is the described the devoid of the dharmas, because between there is like yesterday we are talking about, it is like one is like finished after to appears quite take time. For example, we can to say that this pineapple seed, and first time is we put, and then this seed is ripened, maturated. We have very nice harbor of the pineapple, and then is we need to taking care. And now is that everything's maturated. We ate it, and then it's like maybe seed is disappeared. But next, this, and then we took the seed. Okay, we have good harvest of that pineapple, and also we have the seeds. And then this seed we need to put again into the ground, and then is this ground the seed to maturate it until there first pineapple we need to reach to the next to have the harvest of the pineapples. And also it's like same as bananas, these great bananas, and most ladies they are eating the bananas, and boys they never eat banana. And then it's like once it's like good harvest of banana, and don't eat immediately. You have seed, but you need to put this seed until the maturation. Now it's something is laughing. I don't want to. Okay, you can't laugh. And then between there is very important to. This is the truth. This is the realities. It's like something like this. And then the fortunate place where beings have the adequate merit Prayed Yaka Buddhas. Pachika Buddhas appear, but the doctrine is not taught or the practice. Sometimes between there is one Buddha has disappeared, teaching everything. Next Buddha has not yet appeared. Then between there is not, but sometimes the Pachika Buddhas, self-Buddhas, sometimes is like appear. But that is also very difficult. Some has some great merit on the past. And also maybe they have some cause in the mind stream, habitual tendencies. And maybe also Pachika Buddhas to pray very much. They say, I want to reborn between these Buddhas and want to help to the sentient beings without communication, just showing the physically and like this. And they teach through the movement of the bodies, but they never talk, and like this. And then it's sometimes rare like this kind of happens. These days we still have the teaching of the Buddha Shakyamuni, and the degree of the several follows are the 10-fold sequence. 10-folds. It's like a kind of divided the 500, 500, 500. 10-fold means each like a 10, the 5,000 divided 500 and years, and like this. Then there's 5 times 10. It's become the 5,000. This 500 part, the sequence. First, there are the 3 periods, each consisting of the 500 parts. And then it's like each one is like kind of the divided, like 3 periods. 3 periods, each one has the 500 parts. During these times, there appeared the teaching of the heart of the Samantha Bhattas. And this is the first. It is like a kind of the resultant. Maybe it's more teaching was powerful and excellent. We can to say it's like a 3 part of the 100 times, 500 times. And then is the came 3 periods of the 500 part for the uncomplacement. It is called the uncomplacement times. And during that times, it is like a more practice, more important. And really maybe there is also like a lot of practitioner, lot of realizations. Therefore we call the uncomplacement periods. And this is like the 3 part of the 500s. And then these are followed by 3 periods of the 500s part for the transmissions. And during these transmissions, maybe like more explanations and a lot of like kind of contemplating and like analyze and like a kind of the study, but not very much practicing things. And just like a kind of study, contemplate, but not very much serious to take.